Happy full moon in Aries. So big full moon in Aries today. How is this energy going for you? What's going on in your life? Well, today's transit's Friday. So we're going to be looking at the astrological transits of today, 29th of September, until next Friday. Now, there are a couple of things that are very important that I want to mention. So we're going to be covering this video a little bit of a preparation for eclipse season, because we're just entering eclipse season with this full moon now. And what relationship do they have, this full moon from today and this eclipse season that's coming? We also will have Mercury shifting signs, so Mercury going into Libra. We're going to have the last week of Venus in Leo as well, so I'm going to cover a little bit of that. There is a grand trine this week as well in Earth signs, and there is a Mars square Pluto involving the nodes as well, which will be this whole week. So let's have a look at that. Let's dive into it. And remember that this is constructive astrology. So we're going to be looking at that in an empowering way. How can we use this creatively, constructively, so we can actually use these energies to our favor rather than fearmonger and then create a kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of things that can go wrong. All right. So this constructive astrology. I'm Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars. Welcome if you just found me. And welcome again if you're coming back. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to see you here. So let's share my screen and have a look at the chart for today. Also, let me know in the comments how your week has been, how this full moon has translated into your life. This full moon has been quite intense. We had a heat wave here in Brazil. So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, into a kind of a work rhythm, but it's been slightly challenging. A few kitchen appliances going rogue as well and not working. So I'm kind of trying to fix all this and get back into the rhythm, get back into my Virgo self. So this full moon has been a little bit disruptive in that way for me. Let me know you. I mean, there's also some beautiful work developments that's happening for me, and I won't get into the details of it because it's too exciting. I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just gonna keep quiet about it, but that's also happening. So it's not just kitchen appliances going wrong and things being challenged, but there's also some cool things that are happening. So let me know in the comments. I love to create a sense of community, a sense of exchange, a sense of getting to know each other as well. So please answer in the comments if you feel called. Let me know what's going on, where this full moon is in your chart, what's picking up and what's happening there. So now, as a reminder, I did talk in greater detail on my previous video about this full moon. And just as a reminder, I think one of the key notes in a nutshell is that Venus is very emphasized in today's full moon. We've got Venus in Leo ruling the Sun, Mars, and the South Node in Libra. Mars is important because it's the ruler of all the Aries points during this full moon as well, including the full moon itself. And so because of that, we go back to that Venus. So Venus in Leo is very powerful, is in mutual reception with the Sun, so they're in each other's sign, which lends even more power to that Venus. But what I really wanted to touch here and bring this full moon chart back is because we will still be dealing with this big release of energy during the week, and is the square between Venus and Uranus. So this could be related to a lot of turbulence in relationships, a lot of disagreements in relationship, or a heightened feeling of individuality, of wanting to get your space back. If you haven't managed to have your own space, there is a sense of wanting to express yourself creatively, Venus in Leo, in your own way, square Uranus, without restrictions, square Uranus. So there's something about not putting up with restrictions anymore, not wanting to put up with restrictions anymore, that this full moon is emphasizing as well. And that goes to relationships, finances, or anything to do with that. In fact, it could be bringing back a lot of what we've been dealing with since Venus went retrograde. So this is going to be very up on our faces, the things that we had to revisit during that period of Venus going retrograde. So this is an energy that will be lasting for the week, because full moon is very powerful. It brings, a lot of emotions to the surface, a lot of powerful realizations and culminations to the surface. And this energy will be dealt with throughout the week as well. But that Venus-Uranus in particular, I think, will also be a key sort of energy that we're going to be dealing with during this week. All right. So just so we can have, we can pay attention to this. Okay. So I'm just giving a bit of a heads up to pay attention for this week. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, and it does relate to the eclipse season and the fact that we're just beginning to step into that portal. And the eclipse season is usually this sense of being in between worlds and this huge kind of potential shift that happens during eclipse. So we're sort of in this sort of hurricane and that energy that's kind of taking us already. Now, what I wanted to say is that on the 14th of October, we'll have the new moon eclipse. And that new moon eclipse will be happening at 21 degrees Libra. Now, do you notice anything at 21 Libra as we're talking when you're looking at the chart? Well, that's the degree that Mars is during this full moon, right? And I said Mars is the ruler of that full moon. So there's something really important about the 21st degree of Libra. The fact that Mars was there, was coming to conjoin the South Node. So a lot of anger, pent-up anger, frustration, anything that has to do with not being able to be assertive as well, or being overly assertive, or manipulating to get things your way rather than being direct about what you want. You know, all of these problematic things will be revisited, will be worked with. And when it comes to the new moon eclipse on the 14th of October, we can set intentions to let them go very, very powerfully. So think about what that Mars in Libra represents during this full moon now and during this week as well. The frustrations, the anger, the assertion or lack thereof, whatever it is that's happening that reflects the energy of that Mars in Libra conjoined South Node opposite Chiron as well. You know, our wounds around assertion, around individuality, around selfishness, or feeling selfish, or feeling scared, or feeling selfish, blah, blah, blah. All of that can be used as a clarification to the intentions that we want to set during the eclipse, all right, during that new moon eclipse at 21 degrees Libra, because it will be in the exact same degree. Okay, so this is one of the heads up that I wanted to give you. So let's keep going and let's talk about the rest of the week. So for this weekend, really, we're still going to be dealing with this energy. I mean, Saturday, moon will still be traveling Aries, and then we'll shift into Taurus as well during this weekend. And you know, there's like a slight shift of energy here, but mainly I think, you know, is the fact that moon will oppose Mars as well during this weekend. And so we can really have a sense during this weekend of what that Mars, what the full moon Mars, what this big energy is kind of showing us. All right. So think about full moon and full moon energy as a big pointer, as a big showing that we can have. And the intensity, the intense emotions, the intense events, they're kind of showing us something deeper. Okay, something deeper about our process, about our cycles, about our life development and our growth. All right. So this is something to keep in mind during this weekend. And obviously the energy of that Venus is square Uranus will be very strong throughout the weekend as well. So learning how to be more expressive, learning how to reclaim your space if that's what you need, etc. But that moon also kicks the, you know, start the aspect that will be forming, will be slowly getting into formation during this week, which is what I wanted to say as well, which is the Mars is square Pluto. So Mars conjoined nodes and is square Pluto. So if I keep moving, so this is Sunday, so if I move Monday, here is Mars at 23, almost 24. So that's when we get the exact conjunction of Mars South Node, and this sense of really getting in touch with some yucky feeling around assertiveness, around anger, around rage, or repressed rage, you know, all of that, because Mars is also in Libra, right? It doesn't feel very comfortable being direct and expressing anger, because anger isn't civilized enough for Libra. So I think there's a little bit of that flavor there, and we can pay attention to it during this week. All right, pay attention, watch, observe, and throughout the week, up to the end of the week, up to next Friday, that Mars will keep moving and will come to form a square with Pluto as well. So for me, the conjunction with the South Node, opposition to the North Node, but also the square to Pluto, for me, it just is like a double whammy of evolution. It's got an evolutionary flavor to it. And in fact, in evolutionary astrology, the nodes as well as Pluto feature very strongly. It's really about the evolution of the soul. So there's something about stepping into our individuality, or learning how to, or letting go of old ways, manipulative ways of like doing our individual selves, that we can tend to during this week, all right, that we can really see, that we can really get in touch with, or even how we deal with anger from other people as well. How good are we to be the recipient, you know, to kind of have confrontation with other, you know, when someone wants to confront us, how do we deal with that as well? Do we just run away? Do we just do the people pleasing? Do we just, you know, again, I'm going to put the link to my North Node, South Node video, because it will involve any of that myriad of different potential themes that these lunar nodes are reflective of during this week. And it depends on where you're at in your story. What do you have in Libra? Where is that Mars in Libra going to be? And what sort of Pluto transit you're also having, that you're going to be able to weave more personally in your chart as well. So remember, astrology is detective work. No matter how clever an astrologer can be to give you a general insight and a general advice, it's always good to look at your personal relationship to this advice, okay, and see how you can fit that into your story, into your chart. All right, so that's definitely a powerful one. Now, another one that I wanted to mention as well, which is on Monday, so Monday the 2nd of October, is the grand trine between the moon. So the moon will activate a trine that's been going on between Mercury and Uranus, and, you know, Pluto as well involved in the picture. So we're going to have the moon, Mercury, Pluto, sort of Uranus is an earthy grand trine. So Monday can be a wonderful time to accomplish things, to make things happen, to manifest something tangible, to reorganize your life, and to enjoy the last few days of Mercury in Virgo as well. Mercury is very, very powerful in Virgo there. You can organize your life, organize your to-do lists, you know, do the things that you need to do that overdue. Get a ride with these energy, you know, take this window of opportunity, take this help there, get your surfing board and use this grand trine to get things organized on the earthy, tangible realm of your life. All right, so this is just a little window of opportunity there as well with these energy. We also obviously have that Mercury Neptune going on, and, you know, you could also be potential inspiration, you know, spiritual inspiration is in fact a kite, looking at it, if we include that Neptune. So it could be mining spiritual, you know, meditative insights and applying that into your real life, into your material life as well. So this is a way that we can see this window of opportunity. And then Tuesday we got Venus. We still got, like, for that week as well, to be honest, for the weekend, kind of coming to that formation as well. But there is a Venus North Node trine, and again, that Venusian flavor that's being very important, even, you know, during the full moon as well, and all that I've been discussing, and the sense of self-expression, being creative, doing what you love, putting your heart into what you do, etc. So that will give you a little hand in the process of evolution there with the trine to the North Node. And then Wednesday we got Mercury shifting to Libra. That was the other important flavor that I wanted to discuss and wanted to bring into here, so you kind of prepare yourself there. So Mercury shifting into Libra, the thinking process, thoughts, ideas, kind of going into that Libra archetype and that Libra flavor. And so shifting into relationships even more, into understanding the balance, you know, is it balanced, is it not, is it fair, is it not fair? Like, we're going to be thinking more about fairness, and we can practice more, you know, and be more intellectual, be a little bit more detached as well. Air signs are able to detach from situations, but there's something about getting into the intellectual side of the insights that we've been having with the South Node and Mars on the South Node, and, you know, etc., and that shift into the Libra Aries, and preparing for that eclipse as well, you know, the new moon eclipse that will be happening in Libra. So that's an important shift of flavor there as well, that Mercury. And I think this is it, really. My last thing to say is that this is the last week of Venus in Leo, so enjoy to tie the knots and do all the clearing, the, you know, the closure from that period of Venus going retrograde in Leo. Has been a long time in Leo, dealing with the Leo 9 things and that Leo house that you have and the Leo planets as well. So this week you could also say a little prayer there by yourself to this Venus in Leo, and maybe write, maybe do a bit of journaling or something, and just, you know, just get the hang of what happened. What was it that happened, you know, during this long extended period here of Venus in Leo, and what have you learned? What have you learned? What have you embraced? What have you adopted into your life from the things that you had to review, that you had to work with during Venus in Leo, right? So this is what I would suggest, you know, for this week, as well as Venus comes to a closure in Leo. All right. So that's it. I mean, this is the 6th of October, which is the following week. I mean, next week I'm planning to do a video about eclipse season itself, because it's such an important topic, such an important period as well, like a huge, you know, charges of energy to evolve, to grow, to expand, to move ahead in our lives as well, if we use it accordingly. So next week I'm planning to do videos about the eclipse, about what can we do with it, about the changes that could be reflected as well, and the intentions that we can set and things like that. But this is it. That's me for today. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, what you'd like me to talk about a little bit more as well. What are you curious, what you're struggling in your astrology practice, in your astrological journey. And I will be seeing you all next week. Have a wonderful full moon. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye now.